Everyone, I'd like to call this meeting of the Daly City Small Business Commission to order. Today's date is March 14th, 2024. Happy Pi Day. The time is now 7:02. Let's start with a roll call to confirm attendance.
Commissioner Maria Carson.
Here.
Cruz Carson.
Present.
Vice Chair John Peña-Serrata.
Present.
Chair Amro Radwan.
Present.
And Commissioners Charles Hill and Joseph Bautista are absent.
Thank you. Let's all rise to the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. So next on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. The January 11th, 2024 minutes have been distributed. Fellow commissioners, any questions, amendments, feedback?
No, looks good.
Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
I approve.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. So moved. Okay. Let's see. Next up on the agenda are some discussion items. We'll start with the staff report and the listening tour.
So this is just providing a framework for the listening tour that we've all been discussing for several meetings now. I'm just going to go over kind of the steps to reiterate what it is that we're doing. So we've defined the purpose for the listening tour is to gather insights from small businesses that can be used to direct counsel on programs to help our small business community. We identify the audience, which is what I think you guys will be doing a little bit of today. We developed a questionnaire, which was also resent out to you because it migrated from Google Forms to Microsoft Forms. So there's a little bit of some changes from the original questionnaire, that the survey that was already created to reflect more of a positive outlook. I know that we asked some things like, are you thinking of relocating, and how much money do you make, and some kind of things like that. And it's kind of awkward from what I learned doing this actually in South City, when you're speaking face to face with them, and if they are filling out the survey with you or in front of you, for them to be like, I am thinking of relocating, right? So either are we planting an unintended seed, and are we making people feel like they don't want to answer these questions? So the questions are now more positive, what Chair Amro was talking about in terms of like a scale. So it's not, yes or no, do you think, Daly City is a good place to be? It's not yes or no. It's on a scale of how do you think it's a good, is it a good place for? And there was questions about weekends activities, weekday activities, and if this is considered a destination for food and dining, which brings, as you know, a lot of commerce to the city. Identified the method of engagement, which is the survey, which will be deployed through social media, have the QR attached to it so you guys can give it out, and then scheduling the tour. So that's what we're going to talk about primarily. And then conduct the tour, we go ahead and analyze the data, and then I'll amalgamate the findings so that we can report it to council, and that can be with any of you as well to the council meetings. So we set the framework, we tailor and customize it to our audience, and then we measure and adapt accordingly. So in your additional handouts, you'll see these are land use maps, I know, but it kind of gives us an idea of where the commercial zones are. So in figure 1, the red zones are where the bigger commercial zones are for us. And then in the second page of this is just blown up. So this, because it's kind of hard to see. I don't know, for me it was hard to see. But I did also want you to have the key, which blowing it up took the key out. So, and then for figure 2, those are the planning areas. If you guys wanted to divvy it up by planning area, B by industry, and C by appointment, which I also did want to talk to you about. If you wanted my assistance to set appointments for you guys with specific companies and businesses, we could do that as well. And I've found doing this work in South City recently, it's way better when you have an appointment, because then they're preempted, they're prepared, they know what's coming, they're not caught off guard, and they can, formulate their answers a little bit more and probably feel more comfortable doing this with you. So it's setting the stage. So those are the 3 criterias that I want to, you guys to decide and identify how you want to divvy it up. And then the last additional document, which the link was sent to you. So this is on a Google Share Drive. And you need a Gmail account to access it. So I think everybody but you, director, has access to it. But so you're already placed in the drop-down menu, your names in column A, the date that you visited the business, the name of the business, and then that second drop-down is either they completed the survey, we need to follow up with them to complete it, and then it says DNC, which is do not call, do not contact, meaning they don't want anything to do with this or participate, and we respect that as well. And this is just kind of more of a tracking sheet so that we're not running up on the same people, right? And especially if they don't want us to contact them. We don't want to keep no, you have to talk to us, so. Yeah, right, you again. That's the extent of the staff report and the framework for the listening tour. Just open it up to discussion and/or questions.
Yeah, first of all, thank you so much for putting this all together in such a easy, logical way to absorb it. I think yes, it's on. I think the first question I have, and it's kind of for my fellow commissioners as well, it's just do we want to do the listening tour in side by side with the survey, or do we want to do the survey first and sort of get some data? And I'm kind of leaning more towards that, but then also I think the survey, we're probably going to want to keep that open for quite some time. But I think it would still be interesting, even if we were able to send it out via social media, like we sort of planned here. I know it won't go out for the business renewals, but maybe it will in time. But I'm just thinking if we can start capturing just a little bit of data, I feel like it would also be helpful when we actually are visiting these places in general, and sort of having some data behind some of the visits that we're making.
I was going to say I agree with the approach would be to have some sort of introduction of who we are, and then set an appointment, and maybe prior to the meeting to have them complete a survey, so we have a sense of where they're coming from, and also have talking points. Like not just come in there blind when we come in and they're, who's this guy? Type of look in their face. So really understand what our purpose is and why we're there, and why we really want to listen to what their concerns are. And so I think having the survey open and framing it in before we meet with them would be great.
Yeah, like if we have the answers so we can kind of go by how they feel about the survey and then kind of ask them why they have that concern, or, why they feel that way. Kind of put it around that survey. Yeah.
I think that's a really good idea, because it does, like Vice Chair was saying, it sets the stage, and you guys do get to know and feel the temperature before you get there. So that's a great idea. And also, like if you just haphazardly are somewhere at a place of business and you're like, oh, I have this survey if you want to fill it out. And we could also deploy that method too. It's not like one method only and that's that. Like to be able to have it more free flowing and open would be good. So definitely sending it before we set the appointments, and then also being able to just have the QR or the link on you, so that if you're, fly by night, just happen to be somewhere and the owner's there, or you want to talk to, or you're just talking to somebody there and they can fill out the survey right then and there in front of you. And it's right now it's only 11 questions, which includes name and contact. So, because we've also found that the shorter the better. If you're reaching them at their place of business and you don't have an appointment, they may be busy, it may be their rush hour or whatever, they're tending to customers. You don't necessarily want to get in the way either. So I think keeping it nice, short, and succinct. And then because this is a tour, this survey is part of a tour, as opposed to sending it out during business renewals, which we still can, I think maybe that survey could be a little bit different. Like, do you plan to relocate? Catch the demographic information at that point too, because business licensing doesn't. We have no idea how many of our businesses are women owned. We have no idea how many are, are veteran owned or whatever. Like we don't capture that data, unfortunately. So I think at that time, a separate survey, but still inclusive of some of the questions that are in here, would be a good idea. And then if you are open to this, as part of this listening tour, have some sort of culmination event where we're specifically inviting business owners to a commission meeting after the renewals have been sent out. So they would have gotten hopefully this one and the second one, the renewal survey, and then be able to come to the meeting, and we can have that as like an open engagement day. Are you guys open to that?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that if you have follow-ups of what we're doing, that would be a great way to show them that there's process that we're trying to achieve here, and not just, oh, we got your data and see you later. Let's actually get you guys more involved in what we're trying to do. Yep.
Yeah, I think the follow-up will be super important. One thing you just brought up as well was the like the whole idea of data. One question, there's a few questions I have, but the first one I think is, and I'm just assuming you would like present to us, of course, during the meetings, like what are the responses and whatnot. But even before that, would we, well, maybe the question is, could you maybe send out, as, I don't want to create more work for you, but I was just saying, like, if we can get access to some of the responses, either through when someone submits, or if there's some way to look at, or be able to, like, I'm not sure how Microsoft Forms does it. But yeah, but I think for me, it's like, of course, the individual organizations or companies or businesses that we'll be visiting, it would be good to like know what they say. But two, I think just aggregately, like, what are some of the results as they come out. Yeah, and I think based on that, I feel like there's going to be more discussion around, what do we have in our purview and power to, to like push the needle on any of the concerns or issues that the businesses are having.
Yeah, definitely. And I love that idea. And I have no qualms with sending periodic reports monthly, as they come, whatever. If I see like a big flux, then of course I'll re-update you. But yeah, I believe Forms creates automatic graphs, just like Google Forms does. So that'll be an easy shoot to you guys.
Cool.
Yeah.
Any other questions or feedback, commissioners?
I think we talked about it before, but when we are there with the business owners and stuff like that, and I know everyone's different, and like if we're there and they have like a lot of concerns, because like we don't know, like we go in there, they did the survey, some people act different, so what if they have so much concerns and we can't answer them right away? What would be the best kind of thing for us to do? I mean, we can tell them, write it down, like how would we approach that to make, like we can make them feel comfortable, but we just want to make sure that it's within the rule that we're doing it. Yeah.
I think one of the good ways would be to, especially if they're kind of going on and on, to make it more constructive. You could feel free to give them a copy of my card, your cards. You guys have cards, and just let them know that they're always welcome to contact city staff for whatever their concerns are. So like, if it's something to do with, small business grants or something, that's something that I could definitely lead them to where they are based on their companies. And also, like, if it's like a trash issue, right, then that it would go through the different departments that handles those things. So you're the first point of contact, and then you can also give them my card, and then we can filter wherever they need to go based on what their needs are.
Yeah, thank you for that, Commissioner. I was going to say, I think it's important that you bring that up, and a big part of it is just like, we can't overpromise anything, and I think we just have to be very clear that it's like, it's a...
Because, like we can help them and we want to help them, but we just want to make sure like what's our limit and like, how we go about it, when we visit.
Maybe we should phrase the visit and in which, this is not like just open the floodgates or, type of visit. Is more or less, we're here to introduce ourselves as your resource. If there's maybe top 3 things you want to talk about, let's do that. And also maybe within an appointment time frame of 30 minutes or so. Like, just not to like shut the door on them, but just give them an understanding. We have a little bit of a time limit for today. And if there's other things that we need to discuss, then, that's when, here's my business card, we can continue doing so. So I think having a game plan as far as how we will approach them would be good.
To answer that, again, excuse me, this is for, of course, you guys to introduce yourselves to the small business community, let them know that you guys are a resource, and to frame it that we're gathering input and insight to provide direction on new programming, incentives, whatever it is. Like if we hear that, out of the 6,700 or whatever we have business license holders, 75% of them have the same exact concern.
Right.
That's alarming for us. But if it's only one person, complaining about whatever, then it's not that we don't want to meet their need. This is more to gather insight to see where the major gaps are to help us create programming to fill it. So that's kind of how you want to frame it. It's not, I'm here to solve your problem specifically. It's, I'm here to gather input and insight from you as a business owner to see how we can help the community at large.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you.
was great.
Very eloquently said. So yeah, and yeah, again, I think I go back to like it's a listening tour, and this is about giving them an opportunity to be heard about their concerns and issues. So this is great. I think the only other question I have for my fellow commissioners is if you have any thoughts in terms of like choosing what areas or sort of like sectors do we want to divvy up or sort of think about. And I don't know if you need to give me an answer now or we need to finalize it now, but just something to sort of think about. And if you have any comments or thoughts around that.
In regards to, having an appointment, are we doing this individually or are we doing it as a group? And then I was kind of trying to remember the Brown Act, and if there's more than 2-3 people in a conversation, so I just want to be aware of that. And what would be recommended?
We recommend you go in groups of 2.
Okay.
And then we also have our mayor walks as well, that she's open to incorporating this listening tour into her mayor walks.
Yeah, that's great. I was just gonna say that I think for sure us as commissioners, like we can tag team with each other and go. But it would be great to sort of get the support from the council and the mayor and find out when we can sort of go out with them to visit some of these. So yeah, that's great.
That's as additional to
Yeah.
what you guys, yeah. Do you guys want to decide amongst the commissioners here which areas and or industries? And it's not to say like if someone says food, no one else can get food, right?
I mean, I think it'd be probably more ideal if we take areas
Yeah.
and we can touch upon these businesses a lot more efficiently if we did that versus, jumping from one part of the city to the other side.
And you all might just have your natural areas that the shopping centers you frequent more often, and that might be a more natural fit.
Yeah.
Depending on your stomping grounds.
Yes. And let's not forget about the Geneva area. I always feel like we forget about that area. Or not we, but
Oh, like Bayshore and
Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, if we're looking at that, then that means there's 13 planning areas. And that does, of course, that excludes Broadmoor, right? Technically.
can we identify like which areas have more businesses?
It's red, yeah.
Oh, okay, the red zones.
Shopping centers in the Mission Street corridor are going to be pretty heavy lifts.
Yeah.
So you might want to kind of crack those in half.
Yeah.
But then you'll have some other lighter ones.
Like Bayshore, I don't see
Yeah.
too much red out there.
Or like we can probably, if we are gonna split in half, then we can kind of meet, like, one to the top, one to the left, and then meet in the middle. Kind of, like if doing Bayshore. For example, if we go to that side, like the hillside part, doing Bayshore and someone in the hillside section and then meeting in the middle. So then like Bayshore hillside and Mission right there. Then we kind of finish that area and then move on to like the ceremony area. John, like, that kind of,
Is anybody leaning towards something?
I mean, I guess the other thing I was sort of thinking about is like if we're gonna tag team on this, then we also kind of just need to think about like what everyone's preference is. But
time of
you know,
day.
yeah, and just looking at the map, I mean, you're right. Like it's pretty much the Mission corridor, and then the area around here, Ceremony, Westlake. But I'll also say that I feel like there's other small businesses. I just don't know the number of small businesses, but like home-based small businesses as well.
Are we doing
Or are
that
we
too?
just focusing on and I'm not trying to go to people's houses. I'm just saying, like,
I think we'll definitely capture the home-based businesses in the survey.
in the surveys.
But it may
Okay.
be difficult. But I think we're leaving contact, or we're leaving an option on the survey that if they want to be contacted, right? So,
Okay.
so if a home-based business responds, yeah, please
Then we can
contact
reach
me,"
out to
we
them. Okay.
absolutely will.
Okay.
But yeah, it might be kind of weird to.
Well, I just want to make sure that we're not just like if there's anything else outside of commercial that we need to like address.
Yeah, I think we would focus on brick and mortar just because
Okay.
it's easier. But again, home-based businesses will have the opportunity to
If
reach
they
out
want
to
to.
us. Yeah.
Is it possible to get the number of small businesses per area? So let's say, we just say if Westlake had 30 and then St. Francis only had 2, then it doesn't make sense to just have one group do St. Francis, one group do Westlake. We could
Yeah.
divvy those up too, right?
I'm trying to think if Energov or our HDL system would be able to create a geo-based survey, like if they can put pins everywhere so we could see that. That'd be a question for business licensing.
Or maybe based on zip code. But
We only have 2.
Yeah.
But I mean, just as being residents and owners yourselves, you kind of know, right?
where
Like,
the businesses
there's
are, yeah.
Right.
what you see is kind of what you get. You know, based on your eyeballs, how many approximately businesses are in each plaza.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's probably easier to capture in the shopping centers because a lot of them even have websites like, oh, we have 300 shops or whatever. But you might and I don't want to overpromise what the capabilities are, but you could just how many business licenses are on Mission Street since it's a corridor. They might be a way to count that. Yeah,
Like direct to the point, kind of.
yeah, yeah. But it might be harder on some of these other areas where they're just sort of sprinkled around, but then those are probably easier to kind of realize that it's not an overwhelming challenge. I think like on Hillside, I know there's some businesses, but it's not up the whole corridor, so I think it's just a handful.
Okay. Any other feedback or questions or comments? So I think maybe we'll sit on the how we divide it up just for a bit. But yeah. Thank you.
Do we want to decide on a deadline on areas to pick?
Yeah, and also like when we want to start putting this into action.
I would suggest maybe by the next meeting we should kind of know. The only other thing is I want to give an opportunity to the other commissioners that are not here today as well. So I don't know if you can send them a message about it. That'd be great, or send them some of this information. But maybe by the next meeting, if we can at least decide on how we'll divvy it up, and then report back by the next commission meeting.
Okay. And then whatever information I get from business license as well will be presented at that time.
Okay, yeah, that'd be great.
If we go by twos, then there's an odd man out. It's okay.
Well, I guess if somebody wants to go extra credit or something, it could be in two groups.
Okay.
That's
And
possible. Or
You could always go by one, too.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I mean, I think I would just assume that either way, you're gonna be responsible for your thing, and maybe I'll reach out to you, John, or Maria, or some of some of the other commissioners to see if folks are available to come at this time, or at that point we can reach out to the council or the mayor to
Yeah.
find their availability.
I mean, we could right off the get-go, I mean, like, I'm just wondering, like, your business is on the 80, was it 87?
School Street.
School Street.
Yeah,
and
so
Mission,
that might be a
yeah.
good forum.
So, like, we could actually,
Their
like,
neighbors.
individually be like, all right, this can be my spot because I'm already here,
Yeah.
Yeah,
That would
I
be
was
easy
thinking
too.
that like I can tackle the whole School Street by myself. Yeah.
I can tackle Mission Street at least up to John Daly. No, but yeah, I'm just joking. But just like that top of the hill area, and down Mission, yeah, up to like John Daly.
Oh yeah, I can help you with Mission.
Yeah,
Like,
I think we
left
can-
side, right side of Mission.
Exactly.
I'm always around Westlake,
Are you?
yeah,
Oh, good.
so
Okay.
I can talk to some of the businesses there.
So I guess just for the next meeting, it's just trying to figure out when we'll do it and like the time frame or the time, because you also want to make sure that when we go, there's not a lot of traffic and like parking and stuff like that, and just Daly City, like I pay attention to all that stuff when I deliver.
Yeah.
Right.
But I also think like that's why the appointments are going to be like super important, anyways, and just making sure that they're expecting us, and we're expecting to see them as well. So, but yeah, thank you, commissioners, and thank you for all your work on this. This is great. Actually, really exciting to see this moving forward. So,
Good idea.
okay, next on the agenda is the Legacy Business Celebration, scheduled for May 2nd, 5:30 to 7:30 p.m.
So no report on this, and the flyer has not been approved yet. It's pending, but May 2nd, 5:30 to 7:30, because we only have 3 legacy businesses to award, we were gonna fill the time in the beginning as kind of a mini mixer where people come and network with each other. The chamber's going to invite their membership. I just asked if we can invite our business license holders via email. It's an extensive list, so I have to figure out mass mailing, emailing with it, but the question was asked. So is there anything else that you guys wanted as far as the programming? And I have to ask for Maria, if you don't mind donating a couple balloons. Okay, thank you.
May 2nd.
I have an idea. I mean, just want to throw it out there. May 2nd, maybe we could also use that as opportunity to announce our walking tour,
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
right? Instead of like trying to start our walking tour in whatever day, we might as well take advantage of that opportunity if we can get more people in here and we announce that this is what we're going to be doing.
Yeah, and maybe they can even like have a
Fill it
sign-in
out,
sheet,
yeah.
do the survey, and maybe get some of those appointments scheduled.
Yeah.
Not to bombard them, but I was like also saying if we're gonna send them emails to invite them, can we include the survey in that email as well? But I love the idea of like kicking it off at that point.
Yeah,
as
I think
well,
that'll be-
so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great idea. Anything else?
And is are the businesses, all the 3 businesses, is that it? Are we able to still nominate? I know you said we could, but I wasn't sure if there was a deadline.
I think we can nominate, but it's just because of the schedule, the council won't be able to approve
Okay.
by the time the celebration happens.
Got it.
So, so at this point, it's the three, unless we want to invite nominees, but then that might be a little awkward. Yeah. You might make it, but yeah.
Thought about you, but no. I was late.
No, I know.
Because you guys have to approve it as a commission
Right.
as well.
Sure.
So I still have to receive it, vet it,
Right.
and then
You have
bring
to
it back
approve it,
to
yeah.
you
Right.
for you to approve, and then bring
Then
it to
bring it to
council
them,
to
yeah,
approve, all before. Oh, and then the trophy, the guy who's doing the plaques needs 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So we would have needed to have this all done by like
Do you need me to engrave it?
the first week of.
I can probably do the trophy.
Oh, I didn't know you do trophies too.
I do everything. I can engrave it.
Oh, wow. Well,
I can engrave glass, wood, steel, whatever.
That's amazing.
wow. No way, you could have done that? Oh.
See? Maybe we should introduce what we all do.
I know.
Yes. That's awesome, Maria.
That is awesome. Let's talk offline about that.
But yeah, otherwise, I think if there's no other questions or comments, we're definitely excited for May 2nd and celebrating the three that have made it through the process. So, yep.
So, since you guys want to kick off the listening tour at this event, are you okay with speaking about it at the event?
Of course.
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All three of you are going to be there?
Oh. Oh, you say all three of us talking?
No, I mean, all three of you are going to be there?
Definitely planning
Yeah.
on it, yeah.
Okay, cool. Just to make sure that we allocate time in the program for you guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
You said 5:30 to 7.
Yes. Mixer in the beginning, awards at the end. So you guys are probably somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
And that is a Thursday.
That is a Thursday. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, exciting.
A lot coming up.
All right, if there's nothing else on that, then we'll go to the next item, announcements and communications. Any announcements?
Not at the moment. I'll email you. I'll email.
Commissioner?
No, not really.
All right. I don't have any announcements or communications at this point. Staff?
No?
No?
I didn't.
Okay. Well, then, next item is public comment. And seeing as that there is no one from the public here, I think we will adjourn. So, yeah, thank you, everybody.
All right, thank you.